All right. Okay. So tonight we have TMC and Roxy USA, and we are going to talk about uh, Thousand Talents. And we're going to go through some of the doctors and some of the information that we've come across. So what started this was the whole Harvard University professor and two Chinese nationals charged in three separate China-related cases. Uh, if you watched either my show or TMC's show, we both covered this. A lot of people are talking about it. Dr. Charles Lieber, he is the one that transported, what would you say, bioscience, I don't know, I guess it would be bioscience. He basically transported a virus and obtained it from Canada supposedly and took it to China. So anyway, I'm not going to go through all that. I guess at some point we'll be able to share links on it, but that's what started it. Thousand Talents has been kind of in the news. People are talking about it. So I went to Wikipedia, and just out of curiosity, I went to go see who the doctors were. So we're going to be focusing on the doctors and what their specialty is and see if we can connect it to some of the crazy stuff and try to determine what their projects might be about. This is a permanent subcommittee on investigations document. This is from November 2019, and we can, I guess, provide the link to this as well. But basically, if you just go through some of these, it's quite frightening. From brain drain to brain gain, China's systematic targeting of critical technologies, China's military-civilian fusion strategy, China's strategic plan for talent recruitment. Talent recruitment would be Thousand Talents. Lots of stuff out there about the Department of Energy, how there was no safeguards in place and that China was stealing intellectual property. But I think it goes far beyond just Department of Energy stuff. So there's just kind of a quick overview. I have my ugly little note card here that I started to work on. This is the document that I just went over super quickly. And then I just started to list out the names from Wikipedia that were part of the Thousand Talent program. So, TMC, anything to add to that?
Coming off mute. No, I'm trying to load this document on this machine just to kind of stay in lockstep with you. But
All right.
I'm anxious to see just where this goes. I'm sure we're not going to get through the whole thing at this time, but
Yeah, and I think there is a limit on the Zoom room too. I'm not sure how much time we get, so it might have to be in a couple different sessions, but it should be interesting because I have about 30 different doctors here with varying levels of expertise. Some of them are quite scary, and I have made some crazy connections, but we'll go through it before I go woo-woo, before I go too crazy with it. All right, so let's close that. Do you want to take the share from here and just based off the links I've been able to send over, bring them up and talk about them a little bit and what it might mean?
yeah, sure.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to share this real quick. Don't worry about the no plugin. Let's start with Feng Zhang, MIT. Let's start with the MIT guy. And so this loads. So this is the McGovern Institute, and there's all kinds of people in here, and some of these names I recognize through some of the research I've been doing.
Oh, wow.
And so Ed Boyden and Polina Anikiva, they're very much into the brain. This whole thing is really brain-oriented, this organization. So their research areas, if we click on the research areas for Feng Zhang, we get brain imaging, cellular and molecular neuroscience, cognitive neuroscience, computational neuroscience, genome editing, neurotechnology, and systems neuroscience. So this is all naturally framed for helping people with disease. Nonetheless, through the course of their research and experimentation with funding from public organizations and other organizations in order to alleviate and or correct these types of diseases. Through this research, they're able to come up with all kinds of fancy little tools to interface with the brain. So if we go back to Feng Zhang, we can take his name and go to Google Patents. So patents.google.com. And we can search for Feng Zhang and MIT, and we will find what this guy has patented or participated in patenting. So there are lots of people named Feng Zhang, right? So if you go over here, this side of Google Patents, you can see, you can type in search terms here, dates for the patents, the inventor, and then the assignee. In this case, we're going to look for Massachusetts Institute of Technology, because this is where we started, right? MIT.
Yeah, I had written down MIT Brain and Cognitive Sciences and Biological Engineering.
Cool. So we have Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and here we are with Zhang Feng as a name, associated institution or assignee is Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So there's lots with MIT, and we're going to find some in here for the Broad Institute. I don't know if you want to get into some of the specifics here, but really to kind of, I guess, set the table, looking at just an initial analysis of the patents that we see here. We have CRISPR, genome editing, right? Genetic screening, guiding CRISPR, which is going in and surgically, basically with chemicals and RNA and DNA, going in and surgically manipulating genetics. That's what CRISPR does. But then we have the Broad Institute. And when we bring up the Broad Institute, this kind of ties it all, or ties more of it together, not all. The Broad Institute, if we look at what the Broad Institute is, it's Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard is empowering a revolution in biomedicine to accelerate the pace at which the world conquers disease. So human biology, reading and editing biology, sharing data and tools, collaborating and innovating and empowering. So,
and I guess it should be noted too is that they always put up a face or a front of that they're doing, good work, and that it's to benefit society. But you also have to kind of look at it. Well, what else could they do with that?
These institutes are the ones that get the funding for things like DARPA contracts and National Institute of Health contracts, and
right.
So they wear many hats. And so when we talk about what is it, the Q36 or 38, 60 something, the China virus with Lieber in it, 3896. When we look at this, and you've got Wuhan Institute of Virology, and then unbeknownst to Harvard University, beginning in 2011, Lieber became a strategic scientist. China's 1,000 Talents plan from in or about 2012 to 2017, right? And this is really what got you and me, for that matter, spun up on the 1,000 Talents and Lieber and getting into biomedicine for all intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at 1,000 Talents, that list that you have and that document that you found, as it relates to brain drain and taking the best and brightest that are trained in America and exporting their knowledge to, China in this case, this is a real challenge and a real problem. And what we have here, looking at this guy, the first one we're looking at, Feng Zhang, he's very much into editing genetic information. So Here we go. So this, for example, the Broad Institute, which we just went over, delivery, engineering, and optimization of systems and methods and compositions for us. So we can open this up and look at the abstract. This is just one example. There are about 100 results here with this guy's name, Feng Zhang, and the Broad Institute.
He goes by
And
Feng Zhang and Zhang Feng, by the way.
oh joy, so there could
Yeah,
be more.
yeah.
So we'll just use this one as an example. I don't know how many you want to go through in this session. But so this is optimization of systems and methods and compositions for sequence manipulation and therapeutic applications. And you can see here how many countries are interested in holding the same type of patent. So how much money is MIT and the Broad Institute, how much money are they making when you have this many countries seeking this kind of information? There's a certain period of time where the patent holder will collect revenues from that. And so we get into the idea or the concept of trying to make determinations as to what technologies are considered national security. How is that evaluated? And if they're evaluated to be potentially risky with respect to national security, now we get into the idea of being able to transfer technologies through the Thousand Talents program, for example, that may or may not be released in the public space with patents. I'm not implying that the patent that we're looking at is a violation of national security. Don't get me wrong. This is an example of the type of work that these people that are being recruited by China are performing.
And you have to remember the intellectual property piece of it too, right? So they go to the American universities, they gain all of this knowledge on, this is one of many projects, right? And then they take that knowledge and share it with a foreign country, which just so happens to be China, which just so happens to be a not so friendly country.
Right? So let's read this and see exactly how precise just this one patent can be with respect to biology. This invention provides for delivery, engineering, and optimization of systems, methods, and compositions for manipulation of sequences and or activities of target sequences, provided our delivery systems and tissue or organ which are targeted as sites for delivery. We're talking about delivering genetic information.
Well, we're talking about gene manipulation there.
Right, being able to target specific organs. So rather than going in and just think of it as a difference between like a shotgun versus, a very precisely placed round, where it's not spray and pray. It is it's surgery. It's a surgical action done at the cellular or at the genetic level. It's using a scalpel to go in and surgically create a change. So also provided are vectors and vector systems, some of which encode one or more components of CRISPR complex, as well as methods for the design and use of such vectors. Also provided are methods of directing CRISPR complex formation to
Eukaryotic.
Yeah, something crazy, to ensure enhanced specificity for target recognition, right? So they're going after surgical precision at this point, right? So, an avoidance of toxicity to edit or modify a target site in a genomic locus of interest, or to alter or improve the status of a disease or a condition. Rather than going through and reading all this, just looking at the abstract, they're going in and looking to manipulate specific genes in a specific organ or in a specific part of the body, and or be able to go in and identify certain genetic characteristics in a certain organ or a certain part of the body.
And just I don't know, I get really freaked out on this stuff, but I mean, go back to that one more second, because I just wanted to read that last part. It says, interest to alter or improve the status of a disease or a condition. So if they wanted to, let's say you have a healthy, I don't know, let's say that your genes say that you're going to grow up and have healthy lungs, they could potentially go in and alter those genes so that you would have unhealthy lungs.
What about diabetes,
Yeah.
where you could go in and you can fry the pancreas very early on in life to pretty much guarantee that there will be a need for insulin in order to regulate blood sugar, which has everything to do with your ability to thermoregulate. It has everything to do with your circulation. It has everything to do with your cognition, how well your brain works, because that's how your brain feeds itself. It feeds itself with glucose. So if your body can't metabolize and process sugars properly, that adversely affects just about everything in the body. And so a good example to your point would be, instead of targeting the lungs, what we see very commonly is diabetes, type 1, type 2 diabetes.
Autism too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. And those are, at this point, in my view, just my opinion, those are antiquated. That's easy technology. The technologies I think that that we're dancing around, or that we're going to eventually discover, are going to be multi-layered binary weapon systems. What I mean by that is through the course of a vaccine regimen, perhaps in conjunction with certain consumption of genetic modified foods, or certain additives in the water, or perhaps certain things that are sprayed in the air, that fuse together once they're all in the body at the same time, so that the negative action doesn't occur immediately. It happens over a period of time so that you don't know what caused it.
Or
And
even over a period of generations.
yeah, I looked at a video today, that discussed the idea behind using technologies like this with CRISPR and or genome editing to go in and um, manipulate. What did they call it? They called it it wasn't the seed line, but basically what it was going in and modifying your reproductive genetics so that the characteristics transfer when you procreate.
Lovely.
Right. So what when we if we get far enough along in this, if they can go in and they can engineer universal genetics, right? A genetic line that changes every human's genome a certain way, and do it and add it to the genetic code of a human so that it passes along when they procreate. You can use that genetic structure to identify, to trigger, to target, or to perhaps construct artificial um, artificial biological structures in the body so that they can then perhaps become networked.
I think it's worth noting too is that, like, as we go through these individuals, I can't say that they're all a Dr. Lieber. I can't say that they're all traders, or
Sure.
I don't know how it is that they came about being involved in these projects, and they may not even know. They may just be looking to do research, but that knowledge that they obtain is then shared with the enemy, and maybe there are no uh, nefarious intentions as this doctor is doing this research, but transferring that intellectual property over to someone else who does have something, nefarious planned is just as dangerous.
And it's all compartmentalized. So it would be easy for a single researcher, scientist, doctor, whatever, to offer assistance and have no idea what the master constructed system is going to look like.
Right, what the project is really about, what they're
Very
really
good word.
hoping to
Thank you.
obtain. Yeah.
That's a great word. Yeah. What the overall scope of the project is. Yes. Do you want to look
Right.
through more of this guy, or you want to go to
No,
another?
let's go to another one, because
All right.
I think if we can just get an overall feel for what these guys are doing, then we can kind of start to paint a picture of what kind of projects they might be working on, because some of this stuff is really not good. All
All
right,
right.
so you
There
got
was
the
another one
second
that.
guy?
Yeah, there was another one
Okay.
that sent me.
That is Zhang Yaoi. Yawa. I don't know how to
This
say
is
it.
the yeah. This is the other guy. Is this him?
Oh, you got a different one. You got the third one. We skipped one, but we'll do him now.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked at this guy yet. So Professor Tao Liu obtained his BA, University of Science Technology in China, his PhD from the University of Pennsylvania in the US. Um, Awarded some awards, all in America, and Enrico Fermi Institute, Chicago, McCormick Fellowship, University of California, Santa Barbara, joined the Department of Physics of the HKUST in 2013, received School of Science Research Award in 2016. Uh, he's addressing some of the most fundamental questions in nature. What is
I
dark
know.
matter?
I know. That's why I was like, we got to talk about this, TMC.
Wow.
It gets worse. It gets so much worse.
How do elementary particles in the universe interact with each other? And if they are massive, how do they obtain their mass? Does there exist a unified fundamental theory to describe nature? Research program involves developing theories at both phenomenological and ultraviolet complete levels. Whoa! To address these questions in connections to experiments, his research program involves devising strategies to test these candidate theories, studying potential of discovering physics beyond the standard model at Large Hadron Collider. And exploring physics target for colliders of next generation. You know that China is building the largest hadron
Yeah,
collider in the world right now, right?
I don't have a good feeling there.
Such as the Higgs factory and hadron collider with higher energy scale. His research program will help reveal the fundamental rulings governing nature.
And that's the Higgs boson, which is like the God particle, right?
Yeah, it's like a quantum tunnel, if you will. They tie that Higgs boson into a lot of different things, but it's like a quantum level electromagnetic wormhole. I think.
I don't know.
Um, but look at the power here. 125 giga electron volt Higgs boson. So they're generating this much energy when they're smashing particles together. That's a nice word. Electroweak
I know.
beauty
I was just thinking that.
genesis. Oh.
Beauty genesis. Dark light Higgs bosons.
Mm-hmm. And
Supersymmetry breaking.
supersymmetry breaking.
Yeah.
So should we? This is the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. That's what that is. HKUST. So trained in America and then moves on, right? So
Or I'm not sure, he may have been born in China and then came here to study, learned a bunch of stuff, and then took it back.
yeah.
Not sure.
Well, he's a professor. It says he's a professor of
All these guys are professors, all of them.
University of Pennsylvania.
There's his full CV. Is that a link there?
Where are you
Right
seeing
below,
that? Oh,
underneath. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see what this. Ah, my flash is not working.
Oh no.
Yep. We
All
can.
right. Well, that's cool. Let's just go through these guys and let's just get an overall like feel for them. And we can always go back and research them and learn more about who they are, where they came from, who they're related to, who they studied under, who
All
paid
right. So
them,
I
who
think
bought their education.
this was the other one.
Is that
USD,
um,
UCSD. Yeah.
um, what's the guy's name?
Kang Zhang, former
King.
chief of iGenetics.
Oh, yes.
So this guy, renowned UCSD eye doctor, who is part of a Chinese recruitment program under the FBI scrutiny, or under FBI scrutiny, has resigned amid Indie News Source questions about his foreign government affiliations and businesses. July 6th, 2019. It was a long time ago. So iNews Source, is that what that is, has learned that Kang Zhang, former chief of eye genetics at the UCSD Shiley Eye Institute, is a member of the Thousand Talents program, which the FBI says incentivizes scientists to illegally take intellectual property developed at U.S. universities to China. The purpose, authorities say, is to advance the country's scientific, economic, and military development goals. Our reporting has uncovered that Zhang is the founder and primary shareholder of a publicly traded Chinese biotechnology company that specializes in the same work he performed at the University of California, San Diego. He has not disclosed this and his other Chinese pharmaceutical businesses to the U.S. government or UCSD on forms required by the university policy and federal regulations. Our reporting has not uncovered any accusation that Zhang illegally took intellectual property abroad.
So that's what they busted Lieber on as well, because he did not report it.
Right. Yeah, I think his contracts, he was like 9 months out of the year was contributing to the Wuhan University of Technology.
And making like huge bucks too.
50 grand a month, 150,000 living expenses. Yeah, lots and lots of money. Should we look at what this guy's into?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go to patents.google and throw this guy's name in here, and there's a lot of them. So we need to think down here. No, it's not in here. We're looking for a University of Regents University of California because it was UCSD.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So methods of mammalian retinal system or retinal stem cell production, encapsulated sensors and sensing systems for bioassays and diagnostics, systems for determining cancer.
What is that? Go back up a little bit. It said using a droplet microfluidic system integrated with the use of a sensor or sensing system.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't sound pleasant at all.
Microfluidics are, that's a huge thing that DARPA has been researching over the last few years. They use microfluidics to make nanotech. They use microfluidics for all kinds of stuff. Biological systems on chips where they can take cells from organs and put them on a chip and then test on those cells on a chip to simulate what they do in the body without actually doing human testing. That's a close second best. They can conduct human testing using human cells, different organ cells or whatever, on a chip, and they use microfluidics for some of those kind of experiments. That would be an interesting dive in and of itself, microfluidics.
Yeah, so it says microfluidics relates to design and study of devices which move or analyze the tiny amount of liquid smaller than a droplet. Lab on a chip devices uses microfluidics for applications such as point of care testing of diseases or organ on a chip studies. No way.
Let's look at some pictures. Microfluidics. Here's one organ on a chip. It says it's in Spanish, but this is what an organ on a chip looks like.
Go back to the pictures. You had another one there that looks like the show you did a couple weeks ago. Scroll down. Look at the processor one.
This one?
Nope, one more down.
This one?
To the left. Right there.
This one?
Yeah, that's it. Doesn't that look like what you just talked about?
Yeah, perhaps. This is a hybrid. So they've actually hooked this one up to a computer or a conventional type of an assembly where they've wired it up. Looks like a power source and a communications, and they've got a system on a chip. So protein interaction.
Delicious. Organic chips. Delicious.
But they are GMO.
That's so messed up.
Right? But yeah, they're talking about using systems similar to this where they grow, they put brain cells on chips and then use the brain cells to be biological processors for artificial neural networks, and then plug those into quantum computers and using live brain cells to perform the actual computations of blending yeah, spooky. They get good enough at that, then they can just transfer it over into us. Like this is, yeah, this is microfluidics, or if you search the pictures, this is what you're going to get. The cool thing about searching pictures for these terms is that you can, these pictures are extracted out of documents. So for example, this one, it's 3D printing microfluidic models, the 5 most interesting, right? So if I click this, and they're not all safe to click, so I'm not encouraging you to do this, but what it'll do is it'll take you to websites that give you either, you know, a scientific paper or an industrial website where these people are commercializing this technology, so you can learn how these technologies are applied in industry and then make the jump back to biology or make the jump back into woo-woo land. A lot of the
Hmm.
stuff that these people are into have been translated out into the commercial sector so that they can be further developed and applied, which is modernizing how we, you know, how we make things basically. um, so here's an idea of the size of this device, right? This is a dime, pretty standard size. People can visualize what that is. And this device here, microfluidic device, is what, 2 dimes, 3 dimes, and it's a complex structure. You've got a couple different loop-de-loos here and some reservoirs, and this looks like this is a mixing agent where you would put 2 syringes that are threaded in. You screw 2 syringes into this thing, and you would squirt them down in through this microfluidic tube, and they would in turn mix, and you get a mixture at the end of the 2, and it would be a very precise mixture.
And somehow they're combining that with, how do you even say it? Computerized computation or something to be able to analyze that data, that information.
Well,
That
let's look and yeah, let's look and see what this guy says. Single molecule or a single cell using a droplet microfluidic system. So what they're using microfluidics to work with a single cell, integrated with the use of a sensor, a sensing system, and an adaptomer, or a DNA zyme. What the heck? That's a cool
didn't learn
sounding
that
name.
one in school, huh?
Yeah, what's a DNA zyme?
Well, look at that. It says there that, where did it go? Detecting a biological, a physiological, or a pathological marker, or
Mm-hmm.
a single molecule or a single cell using a droplet system integrated with rapid and sensitive fluorescence detection system. So like if they wanted to map out, I don't know if it would apply in this case, but a particular cell, this, I don't know, that's a little over my head there.
I see where you're going with that. What? So you're going into the stuff that they wouldn't have published in the public domain, which I like that because that's where my mind goes too. This is something that's patented for a lab, so they can manufacture a kit, for example, and then sell the kit for some specific complex function. So what this looks like is it's a patent for a process that is able to look at a single cell, single molecule, or a single cell, and analyze it.
For
And
whatever reason.
yeah, well, the benefit of that is if you have 1,000 samples and you're doing bioengineering, synthetic biology, and you've introduced different sequences of RNA, for example, into the same type of cell, a yeast cell or an E. coli cell, basic stuff, right? That most people understand. That because they do this with a lot of other stuff. They do this with plants. I mean, how do you think the GMO wheat, GMO corn, um, uh, complex organic, semi-organic fertilizers are made? It was stuff like this. They would take a base material, a base piece of biology, and they would, for example, have 1,000 samples of it, and then in each of those 1,000 samples, they would put modified RNA, modified DNA, some type of a genetic modification to an organic compound that you're starting with, and then be able to study each one of them independently to see what characteristics happen, and then pull the ones that they want based on what they're after, and then continue their testing. And so something like a system like this may provide an opportunity to efficiently go through and look at a single sample, or even a cell out of a single sample, because it could be, many molecules.
Well, and it does say there, materials there, therefore, for cancer involving compounds serving as markers for tumor cancer, neoplasia, cellular determinants, receptors, heat shock, stress proteins. So it's almost as if you could test a cell to see if it was a cancer-causing
Mhm.
agent.
Or if it had cancer, or if it had characteristics that would be likely to lead to cancer,
Hmm.
which, when you think about a positive application for this kind of technology, that's pretty cool. If you were to be able to provide a biopsy and they can go in at the genetic level before cancer even expressed itself, to go in at the genetic level and say you have this amount of percentage of a likelihood of getting cancer within this period of time based on the genetic readout from this biopsy. That would be I don't know if prophylactic is the right word. It would just be it's a test that could be done potentially before there is a real problem, and that may allow for much cheaper, more effective treatment. It could be something as simple as a dietary change, or you add a supplement into your diet, and
Right.
then you never get cancer. And that's the real benefit, I think, to this kind of technology, is if it were really used to enhance the quality of life, not to modify life, right, but just to enhance it, to be able to go in and have a biopsy done or sequence your genome without fear that it's going to be used against you, to know that you need to have this many milligrams of this vitamin and stay away from these types of fats and all these things, and really enhance your quality of life, that they could say statistically at the end of 50 years, if you do these things, because we can look at your genetics and see that these are the risks and these are the things that you're naturally gonna lack with respect to your body producing it, or your body can't absorb it, so you need to supplement more of it. To be able to have that kind of knowledge early on in life, to enhance your life through middle age and through older age, that would be fantastic for people, which is the exact opposite of the way the medical system works today.
Well, and I know you're looking at it from this, positive, great thing for humanity, but I can't get out of my head what the nature of this program is, right? The Thousand Talents program is about stealing the intellectual property, and we're talking about the Chinese Communist Party, who is not really about, they don't really care so much about their people or curing cancer, or you know what I mean? They don't really have all that much interest in,
What do you mean? These people love us.
no, well,
They're loving.
they don't even love their own people. I mean, I
But look what they're curing: addiction and ADHD and AL and Alzheimer's and anxiety. And I mean, you're giving. I think I have a microaggression right now, Roxy.
I'm
You're giving me
sorry.
a.
Too bad. Too bad. I mean, I just look at these guys as maybe not so friendly, and
Hmm.
when I see, they're talking about trying to cure schizophrenia, or they're perhaps trying to cause it.
If they can cure it, they likely know how to engineer it. Wow, I
Right.
should write that down, because that
If
kind
they
of
can
rhymes.
cure it,
They can
they
engineer
can
it.
engineer it.
Hmm.
And I
Cool.
don't know if you caught it in Radix's show earlier. She said something to the effect of, if you can control um, the medical industry, you can control the world, or something along those lines. And it really, as I
Yeah,
was going through and
mhm.
researching this, I was just like, wow, that's really what they're trying to do here.
Yeah. If you have control of the global supply chain, meaning your country is solely responsible for providing the raw materials that the rest of the world uses to make products, the raw materials, because all the other industries are shut down because of global warming and carbon footprint and all of that nonsense. And then you hand all of that industry over to one country, you then can introduce into the supply chain through the raw material distribution anything you want. And I think the science has gotten sophisticated enough such that they can introduce things into the raw materials market and or the medical market or any number of things that, for example, China being the primary provider for just about everything in the world right now, you could introduce many, many things into the global supply chain that would compound or add up when consumers ultimately get these products and use them. And that's the risk.
Yeah, you want that in the hands of the enemy.
Oh, yes.
I just sent you another one.
Mm.
We can keep talking about this guy though. I'm pretty
This,
much over it though.
yeah.
With this guy messing with my cells.
My eyes.
Stay away from my organic chips. You dip.
Not supposed to be GMO if they're organic.
Oh gosh.
Hans. Professor geophysics at Istanbul Technical University in Turkey, University of Oslo in Norway, holds degrees in physics, mathematics, geophysics. Oh, a visiting professor at Stanford.
Uh-huh.
Held positions at the University of Copenhagen, where he built geophysics as a discipline at the Geological Institute, served as head of the department for 5 years. He looks like such a nice man. What could possibly go wrong? His research interests are mainly in processes related to plate tectonics and geodynamics, as well as seismology, with recent projects on interplay between topography and deep processes in the earth. Guess that. Freudian slip.
Okay,
He was
so
in.
go ahead.
Do we want to finish reading this guy's bio? Royal
Oh,
Danish Academy of Sciences. Oh.
I was looking for the Q post that talked about the 11/11 thing. Remember that? That happened off of Madagascar? Remember like the whole 17-minute apart
Oh,
earthquake?
it was an unnatural seismological reading or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. We can see if we can
I'm trying to find it.
see what we see.
I don't remember when that was though. It feels like it was a long time ago.
And what was it?
I just searched 11/11, but I can't remember.
Me neither. Uh,
You know what I'm talking about though, right?
Vaguely.
I don't why would China have an interest in this? I mean, China has earthquakes, right?
Well, you're talking about. Well, we're talking about. We're talking about like harp weapons, where you have geo weapons, where you can induce an earthquake through the earth basically using electromagnetic waves. I mean, it causes tsunamis. You can create weather systems. It's HARP technology basically, but they're earthquake weapons. I mean, we could search that. That's what they are, and I think that's what you're alluding to, right? Is the fact that they can.
All right, so here it is. So on the morning of November 11th, just before 9:30 UT, a mysterious, no, I just got to pop up. No, there's a paywall. I don't want that. 1 second. So this is from National Geographic on, maybe that's not the one.
You want to take share?
No, because I can't find it. It's a paywall here, unfortunately. It's the New York Times.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It had to have been. Go ahead and continue, and I will find the Q post because it is. I think it is related somehow.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to Hans. He's the honorary editor, Tectonophysics, an associated editor of other journals. 2017, he received Thousand Talents Award from China. He was co-founder of European Geosciences Union, where he served as division president, general secretary, and president. Currently president of the International Lithosphere Program, part of the America and Royal Astronomical Society of London, Geological Society of America, and Royal Astronomical Society. Wow. Not sure what we'll find on this guy. I doubt there are. He doesn't look like, he looks more like a philosopher than he does anything else.
And some of them may not be related, but as you said, it could somehow be related to HARP, studying weather type of things. I wish I could find that. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I can't find
this
it.
Guy's an inventor. He looks more like a theoretical person.
All right. You want to move on to the next one?
Sure.
All right. So this is Professor Santosh. So some of these are not necessarily tech related,
Right.
but
Wah, wah, wah.
right. Let me find that. Drop it in there for you. Petrology, fluid inclusions, geochemistry, geochronology, and supercontinent tectonics. So this guy is also into tectonics.
Beijing. Kochi, Japan. All right, so Professor M. Santosh, professorial fellow at the University of Adelaide, and also foreign expert and professor at the China University of Geoscience, Beijing, and emeritus professor at the Faculty of Science, Kochi, University, Japan. From Kerala University, 1981, University of Roorkee, Cochin University, goodness gracious. Founding editor of Gondwana Research. Got to keep it clean here. As well as the founding Secretary General of the International Association for Gondwana Research. Research fields include petrology, fluid inclusions, geochemistry, geochronology, supercontinental tectonics, recipient of National Mineral Award, Outstanding Geologist Award. So China's really into rare earth elements. So I would imagine that through their One Belt, One Road initiative, these kind of people would be useful in order to figure out where to strategically acquire territory for mining.
Okay.
Outside of weapon systems, if you're looking at, an overall picture of a country, this would be economically beneficial as well as for weapons. I mean, to be able to map the earth and find where the weak points are and then understand it with such specificity that you could hit a weak point in a territory you controlled, knowing it would travel through the earth and, magnify the amplitude over in another part of the world. That's very useful from a weapons perspective. But realistically speaking, being able to take a person's knowledge such as this, right, geology, in generic sense, and apply it to things like finding where natural resources are, that seems a little more digestible, I think.
I'm still looking for that post. It was on 11/11/18. And I am not finding any luck on it.
You sure it was 11/11/18?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So it was on Sunday, November 11th, a series of unusual seismic pulses rippled around the world almost undetected. The waves rang for over 20 minutes, emanating about 15 miles off the shores of a tiny island in the Indian Ocean between Madagascar and Africa. And they weren't over 20 minutes, they were 17 minutes over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And they were picked up in Chile, New Zealand, Canada, and even Hawaii, nearly 11,000 miles away. Despite their huge range, the waves were apparently not felt by anybody. However, one person monitoring the U.S. Geological Survey's live stream on seismogram displays did notice the unusual waveform and posted it to Twitter, sparking the interest of other geologists and earthquake enthusiasts. He posted the waveforms, describing it in the first instance as a most odd and unusual seismic signal. It was not only the power of the seismic waves which puzzled scientists, when they began to examine the readings, but also the curiously regular shape of the waveform. In a typical earthquake, the rapid crash of a tectonic plate movement sends out what is known as a wave train, composed of several types of waves moving at different speeds from the epicenter. These did not do that. They were slow-moving waveforms, usually following large earthquakes, only in this case, there had not been a perceptible earthquake. So I don't know. They're calling it bizarre. It was a crisp zigzag, which repeated after steady 17-second intervals. So if you can find that Q post, go for it. Good luck. I wasn't able to find it, but it was very seismic.
Mm. How do you spell seismic? SEI?
Uh-huh. I don't know
Yeah.
that you're going to see it there, though. I just remember Q saying something like coincidence, or I'm pretty sure it was 2018.
Yeah, I just got done searching that. Let's expand it a little bit.
Yeah,
Let's
maybe
go.
it was a couple days later.
Yeah.
It's definitely in here somewhere, though. Maybe it was a while before we actually discovered it or made the connection to it.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I
Yeah.
guess, just the fact that we mentioned it and people can go and look it up and try to find it. I'm looking at something here, but it's not telling me the Q post, which is quite irritating.
Where's Crystal when you need her?
Right? I
How
don't know
many
where it is in
pages?
there.
I'm looking. I don't see it. Oh, too fast.
So that's one thing. If you're going to put stuff on Twitter and you're going to talk about a Q post, please put hashtag Q post number. Be really, really helpful.
Is this the one you're thinking of?
No, but
Mystery
that's a
wave detected
reference.
Mayette.
Yes.
Mystery wave detected worldwide.
Yep.
December 2nd. I don't know
That's
how.
when it was posted, but it happened on 11/11.
What happened to 11/11/18 Unified America Day? You discussing wire fraud? Answer, Freddie.
Oh, you know who Freddie
Wow.
is, right?
No.
Okay. Freddie is the one of the original founders of 8chan, and
Got it.
you know who I'm talking about now, right?
Oh yeah, the role play thing we did that one
Yes.
time.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
god, that's
him.
hilarious.
That's who they're talking to right there.
Think waves worldwide, define unified 17. Sat knockdown force new classified tech online. Control the moment activated. 17. Believe in coincidences? Do you believe your efforts here persuade the people to stop the pursuit of truth?
I don't
CA.
know.
I don't know. What is this CA underscore
I don't
JICA?
know. I wonder if it's somehow related in some of these people.
There is a place for everyone. This is the one you're thinking of, though, you think?
That's definitely one of them.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Maybe that was the only reference to it in the Q post, but I remember when we discovered what that meant, we were floored. We were just like, "You're kidding, right?"
It's the wasn't it was it the Schumann residence? Was that?
No, it wasn't. It's not related to Schumann.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm still looking for the actual Q post because there's a lot of stuff on it that I can Google, but it's all ranking back to the thread, and that will take me forever to find it. What was the name of the island?
Uh,
I thought you read it. What's the title?
Thank you.
Mayotte.
Mayotte. Hmm.
What about 2531?
God, that girl's creepy. 2531.
Mm-hmm. Let me
Call
get
me
that.
in testimony. Vive la résistance.
Ah,
Riots. No, this can't be it.
no, it's just linked. Well, they linked it into this post. On that previous one, remember the JC? They're
Yeah,
linking it somehow to Comey, James Comey. So that's what this post is relating to, is James Comey, and they're linking that Q post and
I see.
the Viva la France or Viva la Resistance back to that Q post in some way.
You got the LP underlined, and then you've got in brackets here A and E.
Don't know.
My title, define role, Mueller. Exchange Shelters, very senior member.
You were learning, Anon. I'm not learning Q.
We're thoroughly off track now. So.
I know. Let's get back on track here. All right, but anyway, it was somehow potentially linked to
Yeah,
the
these people that
seismic
are
wave.
seismologists.
Yes,
Who else you got?
which potentially knocked a satellite out of orbit or something.
Or took out a comm to satellites because they use the astronomy centers for their uplink downlink.
Something. All right.
Yeah.
So we just did that dude. So we got this guy. This one you'll enjoy. And he is neurobiology, neuropharmacology, learning and memory, cognitive neuroscience, cognitive neuropsychology, neural imaging, and electrophysiology.
I.
Mm-hmm.
Keith M. Is this his real name?
Yeah, it's supposedly it.
Sounds like a fake name to me.
University of Electronic Science and Technology of China.
No.
What?
This can't be him.
You know him then, huh?
No, I don't. Do you see what this says?
Invention provides a process of artificially inducing a non-pregnant, non-human female animal to act as a foster.
Whoa!
What?
I was reading just the title, and I'm like, I don't want to go here. But then you started reading the fine print, and now we're talking about chimera kind of stuff.
This is crazy, dude.
The
A
invention.
non-pregnant, non-human female animal to act as a foster mother using a non-invasive method which comprises administering a topical application of at least one steroid hormone to the animal for a period of time sufficient. What?
This can't be the same guy. Nonetheless, that's freaking crazy.
Keith M. Kendrick, Ministry of Agriculture. Okay.
That's creepy right there, though.
That's
That's
like rubbing some juices on her belly. Like,
not exactly the belly, says he.
oh boy. All right. So search it, see if you can find him under University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Oh, it's right there. University of Electronic Science and Technology.
We're gonna, yeah, we'll see what this. We're still inside ResearchGate's website. It's all these other people. Oh, that's nice. Germanium nanowires. Not that they're related to this guy. Okay, so we can let's search it this way. Let's take the M out and see. There we go. And what was the name of the school?
University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Electronic Science. That's it. No results. So he doesn't have any patents. No big deal though, right?
Mm.
So just Google him in general and see what you can find.
No more rubbing hormones. That was.
Oh, that's hilarious.
um,
Yeah, try that one.
he's got a lab.
I did read in that one document from the Senate House Select Committee that China was trying to hide these guys. So maybe they've scrubbed a lot of this stuff off.
Could be.
New scan.
Mm-hmm. Sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Social Cognition and Affective Neuroscience Laboratory. It's jointly led by National Thousand Talent Program Professor Keith Kendrick and Benjamin Becker, Germany, Australia. Study how brain controls social, cognitive, and affective behaviors, exploring the neurological and genetic factors of cognitive and affective disorders and mental illness, finding new and effective treatments for mental disorders.
Or creating them.
Right. let's see what new scan says. Come on. New scan doesn't want to pop up. There it goes. Wow, buddy. You look like you're high risk for coronavirus, according to President Trump.
Oh boy. New scan.
New scan. Welcome. When you're done, you'll feel like new. Look at these people's faces. Look at their eyes. They look lifeless. Like look at this guy's face.
Yeah, they don't really look normal.
They don't look happy, man. They look they don't look happy. That's probably just the nicest way to say that. All right, so let's look at their projects. I think we're done looking at their project.
Can you translate it?
No, not without sounding completely racist.
I mean the translate button.
Oh, we have one of those? I got Benjamin Becker. fMRI.
Don't you have it in your browser?
Can tab.
Hey, here we go.
Cool. English.
English.
I'm experiencing social emotional dysfunction.
Oh boy. Here, I'll take this.
All right.
Generalized anxiety disorder and depression disorder are the common psychiatry and a large number of people suffering from currently. Previous studies found that emotional and cognitive deficits were the core symptoms of both disorders. fMRI studies suggested that the limbic prefrontal circuits, which have been implicated in cognitive and emotional control, were disrupted in both disorders. Particularly the prefrontal cortex failed to regulate limbic regions, resulting in affective disorders, Atkin and Wager, blah, blah, blah. Even though lots of similar symptoms are found between depression and anxiety, they are totally different in diagnosis and therapy. So finding out the common and specific biomarkers for depression and anxiety by directly comparing these two disorders has profound implications. So if I was going to make a CIA front website that just said, hey, here's my page, so give me your grant money, Cambridge,
it would
look a lot like this.
It would look like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system are tied together. That's what links the logic reasoning with the emotional centers. So
We'll scroll back down there.
Yeah.
A little more. And then it says, what is it? Associated with social and emotional problems observed in both the healthy population as well as in many psychiatric disorders, impaired emotion recognition and empathy. Isn't that autism?
Yeah, those would be symptomologies of that.
Yeah.
Rare
Bilateral
patients.
amygdala damage. Emotional cognitive processing may be compensated in some cases by increased activity in parts of the cortical mirror neuron system, also involved in emotion recognition and thought to play a role in emotional contagion, mimicry, and empathy. Wow. I just, as I was going through these I spent 2 seconds on each guy. I was thinking like MK Ultra shooters and.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you fuse it together with AI and you fuse it together with big data, anything that these people are researching and cataloging can go in, especially in China, is going to go into a central database that you can use data analytics to come up with all kinds of different relationships.
Look at the last sentence there.
A key objective of the studies will be to provide a platform for subsequent therapeutic use in clinical populations, and most notably autism, schizophrenia, and psychopathy, as well as antisocial disorders and conduct disorders. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Therapeutic use, huh?
Right.
Therapy.
Therapist.
Mm. If it's therapy, it can't be bad, right?
Right.
Right.
Well,
Or not.
I don't know if you caught the show today, and you were probably on my show when we talked about all of the school shooters, and that was the one
Yeah.
connection was that they all had therapists.
Yep. And some of them have, therapists that were, the head of Air Force psychology and the head of DARPA psychology or in DARPA psychology work groups. And
Right.
yeah. And now we're starting to sort of scratch around the surface of nanotech and cyborg tissues and genetic modification. Um, if you were being quote unquote treated by individuals at that level in the military or in research and development, it's likely that they would have designer drugs that were, manufactured in small batches, let's say, not manufactured in large batches, but manufactured in small batches.
So he did not have any no patents for this guy, but this next one freaked me out because I covered this on my show, which was the molecular switches and motors, and I think like within a day or within a couple of shows you did it as well. That was where they showed the like little, oh gosh, I'm never going to be able to find it now. I'll see if I can go back through my old show notes just so we can grab a clip of it so people can get
What did
a visual.
finish the thought? 'Cause, molecular switches of what?
Go ahead and read the stuff there and find him real quick, and I will find my show notes.
All right, so we're looking for the name Fraser Stoddart. That's who we're looking for. Fraser Stoddart receives a top international award from China, Nobel laureate in chemistry, honored for outstanding contributions to science. Fraser Stoddart, front row center with red tie. Gee, you look like a happy fellow. Look at this guy.
Mm-hmm. Looks very professorly.
He looks just straight up evil. This is what he looks. I mean,
And I
look at his
think, is
just
he the one that I think was born in China, which was kind of unusual.
smug, grumpy face. Anyway.
And he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, I believe.
Oh, so's Obama, so that's not saying much.
Right.
Northwestern University Sir Fraser Stoddart has received the China International Science and Technology Cooperation Award. Premier Li Keqiang of China presented the prize to Stoddart during an award ceremony held January 8th in Beijing. Established by China's State Council in 1994, the honor is conferred on foreign individuals or organizations that have made important contributions to China's science and technology. 4 other laureates were recognized this year. In addition to Stoddart, as one of the 5 foreign scientists to be honored this year, I convey my heartfelt thanks to all my close friends and colleagues in China, while not forgetting for a minute the thrill has been to conduct research along with some of the very brightest students come out of China's university, said Stoddart, a 2016 Nobel laureate in chemistry.
So I think, and I have no idea, this is not my specialty, but I think what they're referring to is that video I just dropped. Oh, maybe I didn't.
You did. I see something here.
Okay. And if you go about 105 in, maybe 1 minute in.
Hey, I've seen this before.
Yeah, the little car thing freaked me out. The switches freaked me out. So this is the delivery mechanism that they can have a nanobot, a nano machine go through your blood system pretty crazy. I can't hear it. Do you have the audio on? I can't hear it.
I can hear it just fine. Just playing it right along.
Well, I mean, you get
Yeah,
the idea of it,
let's
you
start
know?
over. Yeah, we can start over. Hang on. Let's drop share.
Well, it was funny because I had mine playing too, and I had mine muted. So it was like, wow.
All right, let's try this again. Cobalt, no. Is it? I don't know. I don't see the YouTube. Hang on. I have way too many windows open.
I have way too many note cards open right now.
I think this is it. Yes. All right, here we go.
Motors, switches, shuttles, turnstiles, and even nanocars. Let's start off with the smallest building block, molecular switches. Here's Dan Clays from the University of Nebraska.
Like light switches, molecular switches go on or off, thanks to molecules undergoing conformational changes. These are simply changes in structure. They've still got all the same atoms attached in the same order, but they can bend or twist in response to a stimulus, sort of like a beach chair that you can fold and unfold. By shining UV light, changing temperature, or prompting chemical reactions in other ways, scientists can force these molecular switches to undergo conformational changes and thus switch on or off.
Switches.
Well, isn't that nice?
Right, and so just going back to some of the shows that you've done, right, where, again, I just go back to my whole MK Ultra shooter thing, right, where you can go in and you can, with the simple flick of a switch, you could potentially trigger some neuron in someone's brain. I don't know, that's getting a little bit too deep, but
Oh no, you're just fine.
I just see that there's a lot of potential here, and just with even exposure to light. And as you'll see, as we get to some of these other doctors who have done
Are
research
they
into
into
lasers.
optogenetics? Have you heard that term?
I have not, but we just looked at a scientist a little while ago that was into the whole retina study.
It's different than optogenetics, but yeah, we're when you said light and lasers, I think optogenetics.
All right, well, I don't remember hearing that term, but I only scanned through these pretty quick, but I can see some very interesting things happening here.
Should we look for this guy for patents and see what he's got?
Sure.
I bet we could take Sir out. Let's take Sir out and disrespect him for a minute.
But did the Queen like knight him or something?
Who knows? That would be like a scarlet letter these days. Sir. Oh, yeah. Not really sure if this guy's,
Molecular-based switching.
Regions of California.
There's nanotubes.
Yeah, metal cation, derivative metal organic frameworks, nanotech, capable of molecule storage. That sounds fun. James Fraser Stoddart. I doubt this is the guy. Fraser Stoddart, nanotubes, chemical complex, British nuclear fuels. Well, he was called Sir. Maybe that's the guy.
Controlled release of molecules.
Dang. Nanotech. Nanodevice has a containment vessel defining a storage chamber therein and defining at least one port to provide access to and from said storage chamber. And a stopper assembly attached to the containment vessel. The stopper assembly has a blocking unit arranged approximate.
Look, go down to methods for recovering gold from gold-bearing materials.
That's right up China's alley. Method for recovering gold from gold-bearing materials. Methods rely upon the self-assembly of this compound in an aqueous solution to form co-precipitate, a 1 to 2 complex of this compound. University of Northwestern, that's him, huh?
Yeah,
Think he is.
they just did it Fraser. It's Stoddard J. Fraser, but it's Fraser Stoddard.
It's the same dude, huh?
Yeah.
39 results. Northwest, Regents, King Abdulaziz. Abdulaziz. Say that 3 times fast.
Abdulaziz.
Tell you, it made me giggle.
You've
Nanodevices.
gotten a lot of practice with all these foreign
Yeah,
names.
no doubt. We got, diazepam. Tell me that's not what I think it is.
I don't even have any clue.
Do you know what diazepam is?
No.
That's a like a SSRI. That's a GABA. It's a GABA inhibitor. But diazepam is generic for like Valium. And diazepam. Well, I don't want to put those two together yet, so I'm not sure. Let's see what methods of making diazepam. Da 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 da.
And uses thereof.
U.S. patent. Paralenes have been studied for over 140 years. Oh boy. Tetracarbolic acid. More recent levels of sophistication include multifunctionalized parylene, mono, and diamide sculpted into organic photovoltaic sensors, thin film organic field effect transistors, nanofibers, molecular electronics. That sounds fun. Yet no robust synthetic process exists. So this is not drugs. These are electronics.
Interesting, though, they talk about carboxylic acid, though.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of these compounds are going to look real similar to stuff in cosmetics. I'm just saying. Well, let's look here. In the aspect, look at
that. A method for converting graphite to exfoliated graphene. And haven't they been making processors about, I think it's graphite.
Yeah, graphite it's more than one layer. I think graphene is defined as like 1 or 2 atomic layers only. That's graphene. But these are, this stuff's in laurate. I know, I've seen laurate in cosmetics before. Olate. Phosphate. At least they alphabetized it for us. How nice.
It's a foreign freaking language.
It is. I mean, these are all just names for crazy chemical compounds. That mixing of the graphite with to form exfoliated it's not graphene, it's grapheme with an M.
Oh, sorry.
Grapheme. I'm not knowing what the difference is this time. You could probably look it up, but this is
way over my head.
Yeah, I'd have to really reading one of these, and I have to take a nap. I'm being a little sarcastic, but I mean it's every word you're literally spending 20 minutes just looking up and trying to conceptually understand one word at a time. It is absolutely laborious. I'm trying to see if they're going to kind of give us an example of what it's used for. Sometimes they do that. Man, look, these are salts. Independent, yeah, man, this stuff is, I bet we could cross-reference those, and a lot of them are going to be found in topicals. Variety of uses, including direct exfoliation of graphite to graphene in water, that's with an N, at room temperature, uses in organic solar cells, organic field effect transistors, organic dyes. So Fluorescent probes, photocatalysts for water splitting and CO2 reduction, I2 doped semiconductors, singlet oxygen generator, chemotherapeutic agents, for example, DNA intercalation and base-specific cleavage activity. That sounds fun.
Okay, so we're still on Fraser Stoddart, right?
Yeah, this is
Okay,
just one.
so fabrication of artificial molecular switches and motors, which has put chemists at the forefront of the burgeoning field of molecular nanotech.
Yes, what you said.
And then wait, there was a link there for a story. Did you look at the link for the story? The International Award.
Received.
Northwestern receives International Award from China. I think so, yeah.
This is his profile for the university.
Okay.
This is the award Nobel Prize laureate. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's look. Look at this dude. He looks like
he's gonna make Frankenstein.
Like just soulless and I'm better than you. I just blur. Ugh. Anyway, I'm judging. I shouldn't be, but goodness gracious. Board of Trustees, Professor of Chemistry in the Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences at Northwestern University. Awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences announced it has awarded the Nobel Prize Chemistry 2016 to Professor Stoddart, as well as Jean-Pierre Sauvage, University of Strasbourg, France, and Bernard L. Feringa, University of Groningen, in the Netherlands, for the design and synthesis of molecular machines. The Academy credited them with developing molecules with controllable movements which can perform a task when energy is added.
Okay, so I'm just gonna let's just pretend that someone gave you a vaccine, not me, but you. They gave you a vaccine and it had this thing in there, this nanobot molecular machine that was instructed to travel up to your brain, right? And to reproduce across your brain and make like a neural
mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can tell it where to go and what to do when it gets there.
Right. And how, do you ask? Well, we have the nanotech with molecular machines. Nanotech doesn't have to be synthetic like a metal. It can be biological. And we have patents like this from these other cats that deal with delivery engineering and optimizations of systems and methods for manipulation of sequences, provides delivery systems and tissues, provided our delivery systems and tissues or organs which are targeted as sites for delivery.
Right.
So they can put these molecules or these sequences on these molecular machines that we're kind of dancing around here. And yeah, then they would find the right place. They would travel around, find the right place, make their attachments, potentially start replicating. So think of it as a binary system. If you were to inject genetic code, have the receptor sites on the nanotech that could be absorbed through medication, topical application like a lotion or a perfume or a body spray or something sprayed out of the air or something in your food, right? And then those parts are delivered into the body, but they have receptors that would bond to the other stuff that was put in the body. And that's a binary system where it takes 2, 3, or 4 different parts. But once they're all in the body, they find each other and start self-assembly in the body.
Let's go like really extreme. Let's just say that they're delivered via a chemtrail or, something that you breathe or eat or drink. And then let's say that the power source is something like sunlight or wireless signals.
Yeah, or a Wi-Fi field, yeah.
And they could pretty much tell that thing to do whatever it wants.
Yeah. They could even power it using fluid dynamics. They can use thermodynamics, fluid dynamics, so they could power it off of the change in body heat. They could power it off of fluid movement in your body because fluid moves around in your body. Right?
Or
Heartbeat.
even a signal that's released via your cell phone,
Yes.
or even a light that's released through your cell phone.
Yes.
Hooray!
Right. Magnetic fields, electric fields, ultrasound can activate things because sound passes through your body. Did you know that an electromagnetic wave converts into your body as an acoustic wave, as a sound wave?
I did not know that.
Yeah. They can actually resonate your bones because your bones are piezoelectric. They convert sound into energy, and they can convert energy into sound. Yeah. So they can phase your body with electromagnetic energy and actually get things like your bones to transmit ultrasound into your body, or to get your bones to transmit electricity because they're piezoelectric. So they can use sound waves to elicit an electrical reaction or vice versa. And that's just your bones.
It's electric.
Right.
All right, we got another one here for you.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
All right. This one is Professor Mario Lanzo. All right, Mario. You at least look like a slightly happier fellow. Mario Lanza, a young thousand-talent full professor at Soochow University. Professor Lanza got his PhD in electronic engineering in 2010, full honors, at the Autonomous University of Barcelona. During that time, he was a visiting scholar at University of Manchester, UK, Deggendorf Institute of Technology, Germany, where he collaborated with companies Infineon Technologies and Qimonda. 2010-2011, he was an NSFC postdoctoral fellow at Peking University in China. And in 2012-13, he got Marie Curie IOF Fellowship for working in Stanford University, where he worked with Professor Ji Dai. He's published over 71 research papers, including Science and Advanced Materials, 4 book chapters, and registered 4 patents, one of them funded with $1 million. He's a member of the advisory board of Scientific Reports, Nature Scientific Reports, Crystal Research and Technology, interesting, as well as symposium chair and technical committee member in several international conferences. He's also a senior member at IEEE and the Royal Society of Chemistry. Professor Lanza is leading a research group formed by 18 researchers, including graduate students and postdocs, best known for his reliability studies of nanoelectronic devices, especially those using conductive AFM, a field in which he's editing a book for Wiley. Present and future research intersects focus on the improvements of electronic devices using 2D materials. Let's search this guy and see what he's got going on. Mario Lanza. And
All right, what'd you find on him?
he's Q. I'm kidding. He's not Q.
2D materials.
This guy is into nano electronics and is authoring something to do with AFM electronics. Oh, look, piezoelectric material made of nanowires. Mario Lanza, Autonoma de Barcelona. Force microscope tips coated with graphene. 6 results. He said he had, what did he say? So was it 7 patents? Stanford, 71 research papers, 4 books, 4 patents. One of them funded with $1 million. Let's try to find the $1 million patent here. It's the vegetable handling device. It's got to be that one.
Right. It was filed in 1977.
Yeah, he wasn't even born yet. Spacer to make less traumatic intramuscular injection.
What was that top one?
Conductive atomic force microscope tips coated with graphene.
I think this is it. I think he had something to do with telescopes, if I'm not mistaken.
Microscopes or telescopes?
Oh, I thought there's one here that has something to do with telescopes, so maybe it's a different one.
And then we've got this electrode for nano generator with piezoelectric material made of nanowires. Interfacial flexible graphene. Which one do you want to look at?
Let me see. What's his name again?
Mario Lanza. And he's from Autonomous University of Barcelona, Manchester, UK, Deggendorf Institute of Technology in Germany, Peking University. So I've seen a couple Spain, right? And we have a world patent, German patent, world patent.
It was a graphene patent.
All right. Well, these are graphene. I bet this nanowire one's also graphene.
Here's a link to one of the articles. Oh,
Let's see this one.
why won't that work there?
I don't know. What time is it? Oh yeah, we're doing good.
Wow, that won't paste there.
Well, it's in French, so let's go with it. Graphene single layer between nanowire apexes, piezoelectric material, and a top electrode. Huh. Increases contact between the metal electrode and the nanowire. Let's find some pictures. To do that, we have to download the PDF. It's not going to down.
Well, okay, it's irritating me because it won't let me paste this in there for you. I'm going to put it in your Discord.
It's fine. I need to do something with this. This Flash it's not letting me load PDF files anymore. How disappointing.
Okay, so forget that one I just posted.
Was it a PDF?
No, the last one, the link is the one we want, the last link.
Lanzab?
Yeah, Lanzalab.
Lanzalab. Whoa. Different guy, yeah?
No, he's involved with that Fei guy.
He worked on Fei
Hui. Fei Hui.
Started to work in this project in September 2013. She has developed a cost-effective and scalable approach to fabricate graphene-coated nano probes. Her work is published in nanoscale and surface and coatings technology and protected with an international patent. Now we received generous.
I think that must mean generous.
Here, yes, I agree.
Wow, bad editors.
Well, he wrote it. Mario did.
Dude, your spelling sucks.
Right? Not an English major, I guess.
And USD Frompt.
Beijing Institute of Collaborative Innovation to introduce this product in the market, 200 nanometers. Look at this. Standard metal varnished nanoprobe for CAFM. On the right is standard metal varnished nanopore for CAFM coated with a thin film of single layer graphene. And center is a schematic of the graphene coated nanoprobe.
Okay. It looks like a needle to me.
Yeah, it's definitely creepy looking. What's the point?
I mean, like
a nanoprobe.
A nanoprobe, like a nano needle that has graphene and some sort of like network on it.
Like a scorpion tentacle.
Something strange there.
Yeah, that's nanoprobe, huh? He said it was a world patent.
Well, and it's using 2D materials. Nanoprobe 2D.
Maybe it is a microscope tip. Can't be the vegetable handling device. This one wasn't it. It was conductive atomic force microscope.
So I don't think this is related, but novel 2D DNA nanoprobe mediated enzyme-free target recycling amplification for the ultra-sensitive electrochemical detection of microRNA.
That sounds fun.
An
Where'd you find that?
enzyme-free, I don't know. Oh, let's see if it'll let me drop a link in here. No, it still won't. That sucks. So
What's going on with that?
go back to your Zoom.
Discord. Whatever.
Oh,
Tracking.
right. Sorry. And I don't think that's related to the same guy, but it's a 2D, whatever this thing is, a 2D DNA nanoprobe.
Wow. Still loading. Oh, it's a whole bunch of just jargon. Goodness gracious.
It's an electrochemical biosensor.
That kind of sounds like what Lieber was doing with his V transistors that he doped up with a liposome so he can have them basically go inside cells.
What was the guy's name again? Mario Lanza.
Yeah, Mr. Lanza.
And wasn't it Min King or something? The chick that was mentioned?
Yeah, she was
Oh,
Fei Hui.
Fei Hui. Uh,
That's not to be confused with Hui Wei.
all right, well, I don't really know what that is.
Either.
All right, let's move on. Just something to do with 2D electronic devices and nano devices. All right, here's the next dude. And really, I just wanted to like get a feel for what these guys were up to. So hopefully the next ones are a little more exciting.
Oh, chromosomes. Welcome to Tim Burns. Research into quantum mechanics. Oh. What we do at NYU.
Quantitative biology, relativistic quantum information theory, and fundamental cold atom physics. What?
Freaking out right now.
That's like really hardcore. Wow, with satellites even. What's that?
Well, yeah, well, you know the conversation we had in Discord earlier? I really wasn't kidding about that. Where they can run a quantum internet over wireless communications using electromagnetic waves. And so they're talking about, these are different things that they're working on. They don't all necessarily interrelate, but when you look at this, you've got two different satellites and one in the middle. So the idea there is that one cannot interfere with the other, and they're each independent of each other, but they're using the same source satellite, right? So they can entangle photons and or create encrypted quantum communication.
What does it have to do with biology, though?
Well, now that is the secret of the universe, now, isn't it? Maybe on Halloween.
I mean, that's the part that just kind of throws me off. Okay, I mean, and then don't forget that Space Force just launched that satellite jammer too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, you want to. Well, okay. Let's really go off into left field real quick here. Let's go to my quantum folder. Quantum.
Or as Aaron calls it, the pretty chandelier.
Pretty chandelier.
Have you seen a picture of what a quantum computer looks like?
Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
DARPA folder. Where is my damn quantum folder? Why am I not seeing it?
Way down at the bottom, third.
Thank you. I've got a ridiculous amount of I don't want to call it useless information, but There was a patent.
Look at,
Quantum information processing platforms. No.
go down to the bottom where it says quantum brain dynamics, fourth from the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. In neuroscience, quantum brain dynamics is a hypothesis to explain the function of the brain within the framework of quantum field theory. As described by Harold Adam Pascher, since quantum theory is the most fundamental theory of matter is currently available, it is a legitimate question to ask whether quantum theory can help understand consciousness. Large systems, such as those studied biologically, have less symmetry than the idealized systems or single crystals often studied in physics. Jeffrey Goldstone proved that where symmetry is broken, additional bosons, the Nambu-Goldstone bosons, will then be observed in the spectrum of possible states. One canonical example being the phonon in a crystal. This is not what I was looking for. A patent that had to deal with a magnetic field generator. It was a nano magnetic field generator that generated two orthogonal magnetic fields at the nano scale, and it was designed to go in the body. And yeah, anyway.
Okay, so this guy, Quantum Information Technologies, Experimental Atom Chip BECs, what are brain something? Exciton Polariton BECs, Quantitative Biology, Relativistic Quantum Information Theory, and Fundamental Cold Atom Physics. I don't understand what any of those are.
This is yeah, this is Gwen Stefani style bananas. BANANAS.
Right.
Neutral atoms are a powerful platform to perform experiments at the quantum limit. The most practically used demonstration are atomic clocks, which determine the standard of the second, determined as a fixed number of Rabi oscillations between hyperfine states of atoms such as cesium or rubidium in the microwave range. Oh, okay. The next generation of clock aims to reach the stability at the region of 10 to the negative 18. Wow. Which uses optical manipulations rather than microwave frequencies. Other applications of ensembles include performing quantum meteorology applications, which constitute precision measurement at and below standard quantum limits. Several applications of atomic ensembles include measurement of magnetic fields, rotations via Sagnic interferometry, accelerometers, gravitational wave detection. Neutral atom systems are also of interest, performing simulation of quantum many-body systems, fundamental quantum information experiments, and quantum computing. Now regurgitate all that back to me.
Well, okay, first of all, the dude is really smart. Accelerometers makes me think of CERN. Gravitational wave detection makes me think of like the spectrometer or whatever, you know, the magnetic field that goes around the Earth. I don't know what this other stuff is. Quantum many-body systems.
I don't know. Hey, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm distracted. That's why. So atom chips have been developed to realize cold atom experiments in a compact configuration. Many of the required components of cold atom experiment, such as trapping and manipulation of ensembles, can now be incorporated onto a chip. Figure 1 shows some examples of an atom chip. In a typical chip, there's a Z-shaped wire pattern on the surface to produce a magnetic field to trap atoms.
I don't think that's a big deal until you start smashing atoms, right?
Well, when I read this, I go back to that thing I was trying to find with the nano magnetic stimulator, and that's what could be done with that. Z-shaped wire to create a magnetic field anyway.
Squeezed. Look at that. Quantum mechanically squeezed, opening the door for quantum metrology applications. Another advantage of the chip configuration is that it's intrinsically scalable, meaning that many ensembles can be placed on the same chip. La la la. I don't know. Why does China care about this?
China cares about this because if you can, it's like nuclear contamination. If you, I remember hearing this with Fukushima, when Fukushima went off. Even though Fukushima went off in Japan, way far away, right? You're going to get some ambient radiation background elevated. No big deal. It is a big deal, but it's not a big deal when you hear the rest of this story. The rest of the story is those hot particles when things were blowing up and then heading into the jet stream and then flying around the Earth and then randomly falling out of the jet stream and then just becoming part of the atmosphere and then trickling down. If you inhale one particle of radioactive cesium-137, for example, if you inhale that and it deposits into your lung, you're guaranteed to die, basically. You're guaranteed aggressive lung cancer. Because it is now, there's now a radioactive particle that is right next to your body. So even though it's one particle, because it's so close to tissue, it's able to interact with that tissue so much better.
So much worse, not better.
Right. Yes.
Scroll down, let's see the other pictures. Are there any other pictures here? Because
So
none of this makes any sense.
It's because square with it's a field goal.
It's like a slinky.
Or is it like a wishbone? Are we supposed to break that? Is it Thanksgiving? Let's give thanks.
Like there's Adam, there's more chips.
These don't look organic.
Scroll down, I need more help. Oh no, we're really in trouble
atom
now.
chips. This is stuff that you got to look at. Stop, come back, look at later. Stop, come back, look at later, because your brain can only process so much new at one time. Oh, structure showing microwave fields generated by the waveguides. Schematic of an optically based atom chip proposed. An optical chip scale, atomic clock. Oh, they're just giving you. Not so. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not so interesting.
All right. Well, I'm going to look up quantum metrology because I don't even know what that is. Maybe we should start there.
I really want to find this.
All right. So quantum metrology is the study of making high resolution and highly sensitive measurements of physical parameters using quantum theory to describe the physical systems, particularly exploiting quantum entanglement and quantum squeezing. Let's look at that. Get better precision than the same measurement performed in a classical framework. All kinds of crazy math that I don't understand. One example of note is the use of the noon state in the Mach-Zehnder interferometer to perform accurate phase measurements. A similar effect can be produced using less exotic states such as squeeze states. In atomic ensembles, spin squeeze states can be used for phase measurements. An important application of particular note is the detection of gravitational radiation with projects such as LIGO. And LIGO is the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. Isn't that, see, LIGO is part of that 1111 thing.
LIGO?
Yes, that's
how
like
how do you spell LIGO? What's
LIGO? Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory.
Yeah.
A large-scale physics experiment and observatory to detect cosmic gravitational waves and to develop gravitational wave observations as an astronomical tool. Okay.
That's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
An astronomical tool.
Studying quantum metrology.
I mean, a LIGO.
Let go of my LIGO. All right, okay. A central question of quantum metrology is how the precision, i.e., The variance of the parameter estimation scales with the number of particles. Classical, lock in the math. Strong links between quantum metrology and quantum information science, which somebody was into quantum information science a little while ago. It has been shown that quantum entanglement is needed to outperform classic interferometry and magnetometry with a fully polarized ensemble of spins. It's been proved that similar relation is generally valid for any linear interferometer, independent of the details of the scheme. Did you find what you were looking for there?
No, I'm really frustrated. I wish I could find it. I'm really frustrated.
So it's something to do with gravitational fields, the measurement of those fields to get like exact precision measurements.
Well, it makes sense considering it's quantum.
Mm-hmm. And multi-particle entanglement.
Now I'm just
swimming in an ocean of links.
Well, yeah, kind of. I really want to find this thing now because it ties into what it is that we're kind of talking about here.
So what do you think the keyword is for it?
LIGO. I don't know. The keyword is magnetism. That's where my mind has gone to. Is magnetism, magnetic fields. That's when you think about the push to proliferate population centers with electromagnetic waves. It's a base construct. And when you think about us being electrochemical beings, and you think about the Earth having a natural electric field and magnetic field, Schumann resonance, and the fact that we emit a field, an energy field around us, that it's an electromagnetic field, there's something there. And at the quantum level, they're able to measure using light and sound and electromagnetics. I mean, those are the energy forms that are able to interface at the macro level and the quantum level at this point. So there's something there. So that the word that stands out to me is magnetic. I'm going to find this damn patent.
I don't know, like quantum magnetic field effect, quantum field theory, quantum sensing method, measures minuscule magnetic fields.
Yeah. I wish I knew where it was. I just got rid of it too.
Quantum level control of an exotic topological quantum magnet.
That sounds intriguing.
Birds measure magnetic fields using long-lived quantum something. Quantum breakthrough could lead to superpowered hard disk drives. Control magnetic fields as they relate to specific metal alloys. I don't know.
Yeah, raw. Oh well.
What is that? Magnetoencephalography.
Magnetic encephalography, MEG. Magnetic encephalography.
It's your link there. I mean,
yeah. Magnetoencephalography is the study of the brain using here. Wow, this was a long time ago. 2 years. Magnetoencephalography, basic principles. No PDF available. That's nice. It's the measurement of the magnetic field generated by the electrical activity of neurons. So if you could put a quantum-sized chip, right, or a nano-sized chip that dealt in quantum fields next to a neuron, you could measure a neuron, be able to provide stimuli and or feedback. But that's not what this document says. This is using a giant, expensive machine to do this. It's usually combined with the magnetic resonance imaging to get what is called magnetic source imaging. The technology has helped record the minute magnetic fields is a superconducting quantum interference detector known as a SQUID, which is highly sensitive to magnetic field meter, which is like a highly sensitive magnetic field meter. To attenuate the external magnetic noise, the MEG is housed inside a magnetically shielded room. Actual sensors recording magnetic field are magnetometers and or radiometers. MEG field passes through the head without any distortion. Scientific advantage over MEG. The scientific advantage of MEG over electroencephalography is that MEG provides high spatial and temporal resolution. So it 3 dimensions, it understands the space where it's coming from, and then time, temporal. Recording and identification of information should be according to the American Clinical Magnetoencephalography Society guidelines, published in 2011. As 2
All
approved
right.
indicate, yeah.
We're gonna. I can't. I don't know what to say.
You burn
This
out.
guy's just too much for me. So let's go on to this new guy,
Yeah.
Professor Martin De Jong. And this is the guy I was talking about that I think is like the PR guy. He's the guy that runs around like making all of these partnerships with all of these different universities. So this isn't going to take too much brain power. Thank goodness.
What a gem.
So he is Department of Business Society Management, Rotterdam School of Management, scientific director of the Erasmus Initiative, Dynamics of Inclusive Prosperity. A bunch of garbage. One of the blah, blah, blah flagship research initiatives. It was jointly established by blah, blah, blah. Yes, and it aims to gain knowledge on the inclusion of weak or less well-represented stakeholders in governance and management. It also has the agenda-setting role in the broader societal and political debate on this topic. Along with above position, he is professor at both ESL and RSM, each and has a part-time professor position at the School of International Relations and Public Affairs. So he's basically like the face of this 1,000 Talents. He's like the guy that my interpretation is he knows what projects they're working on, and he goes and recruits and finds the people that they need to achieve those goals and obtain that intellectual property. That's how I figured it out. So he seems like he's the guy who makes the deals. Policy and governance, planning and decision-making in China, transport infrastructure, sustainable urban development, city branding, corporate social responsibility, and cross-cultural management.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you he wasn't going to be that exciting. We can move on.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got about an hour.
Okay.
Just so you know.
All right. Let's keep moving. Let's not get stuck on quantum electromagnetic.
But.
Oh, we got a couple good ones coming up here. This guy, He Jinqing, Southern University of Science and Technology. Transmission electron microscopy, thermoelectric materials, structure, and property relationship. I think he is the guy that does like metals or something.
Southern University Science and Technology, joint PhD degree in physics from Jülich Research Center and Wuhan University in 2004. Postdoctorate at Brookhaven National Laboratory. Ooh,
and
that's an American laboratory.
A lot of them seem to have some sort of link to Wuhan too. Wuhan. I mean, I know Wuhan is like a university, so I guess that makes sense, but
assistant professor at Northwestern, that's the second one that we've looked at, that's Northwestern. And a professor at something university. His research interests include transmission, electron microscopy, thermoelectric materials,
And there's a
and
typo in there. They don't know how to spell, apparently.
apparently transmission electron microscopy is like super resolution microscopy. So 3D charge, 2D phonon transport out of plane ZT and N-type SNSE crystals. Holy crap. Photo emission spectroscopy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta get need some fish oil and some
Wait,
water at this point.
look at that. It said nanostructuring in thermoelectrics and its effects of lattice thermal conductivity. All right.
Superior thermoelectric performance, extremely low thermal conductivity, modulated carrier concentration, energy and environmental science. Dude.
All right. We can keep
Oh,
moving.
he has a friendship link.
You should contact him.
That's like Mr. Rogers kind of stuff.
You should be like, hey, how can I get in 1,000 talents and make 50
No,
G a month?
no.
Come on, hook me up. Tell him
No.
you got like you're a professor at Northwestern. He'll hook you up.
Well,
All
this
right.
was a link, Institute for Quantum Science and Engineering, on the bottom of his website. No, I'm kidding. Wow.
Pretty pictures.
Right. Institute for Quantum Science and Engineering. Pictures from space.
If you scroll down, what does it tell you?
Pictures into Wuhan. I can't.
That's it? That's
Wow.
all that's there?
It's a vertical boat. Oh, and an engineered Chinese society. Ah, tropical. Yay, we just graduated.
Yay, we're gonna make $50,000 a month.
We're gonna make $5 a month.
Right.
Institute for Quantum. This is like propaganda, like force you to watch.
Right.
Oh, now I can scroll down now.
Oh,
I couldn't
okay.
a minute ago. Institute for Quantum Science Engineering. Yeah, I got a feeling we're supposed to kind of go here, Roxy. The quantum world, quantum internet, the idea that we're quantumly entangled, perhaps with each other, and they're trying to hijack that with by putting a universal chip, universal control mechanism into us, so that they can override our natural quantum state. But now I'm being philosophical, so makes you wonder.
There's actually people out there that know what this is, that live their life living in this world of Fermi arcs. 3D quantum Hall effect.
I wonder if they
Quantum
know.
heat engines. I don't know. It doesn't look like a fun place to work to me.
I would love to work here, but not in China. A place like this in the United States would be awesome. This would be awesome.
No,
But,
thank you.
You know, life choices have led me here rather than there, so here we are.
All right, let's look at this
What's
guy.
next?
This one is completely. I was not expecting this guy. Wu Chengfeng.
Wu Chengfeng. Hey, he looks like he works out. Yeah, he definitely looks like he works out.
Look at
Meet
his
Professor Wu Chengfeng. Michigan, University of Michigan, computer science. Online gaming is a $25 billion industry, is expected to go beyond $40 billion at the end of the decade. When is this written? Portland State, Mashish College of Engineering and Computer Science. He's working with Intel to develop hardware that detects cheating in much the same way computers detect viruses and worms. It's an offshoot of others' work he's done in computer security to prevent malicious network attacks, spam, and other costly irritants. Cheating in online games is an important area of research because security solutions can be applied to the problem. Unbelievable.
It's weird. Like, why would they be? I mean, it just seems like a really unusual field of study that Thousand Talents would be interested in, don't you think?
Well, not when you consider the amount of data flow, the amount of data traffic, and the amount of networking technicality that has to occur for a global online gaming platform like Xbox, right, or PlayStation to function properly. To actually manage those networks over many different countries, many different network protocols, network topologies, and the timing and the synchronization. I mean, and they have payment systems through those things as well, and you can stream video through it. So there's links and taps to just about everything. So
I'm just letting my mind roam here, like, and I still am going back to the whole MK Ultra, the use of technology to like totally twist these people's brains. And let's say that you're creating like a super soldier or something, and you do not want the enemy to be able to hack your cyborg. This would be the guy you'd want.
well,
I don't know, just a
well,
theory.
yeah, I'm with you. When you say that, my mind goes to the quantum realm, where imagine having a quantum encrypted connection to a human such that that connection is not, you can't intercept that connection. You can replicate the communication to and from that person, but it would be like a splitter where you would replicate the transmit and receive signals onto a computer, let's say on a satellite, side by side. But the actual communication between the human and whatever is the transmission device, be it satellite, cell tower, cell phone network, whatever, those truly encrypted network would be a quantum network. So when you want to talk about, you know, MK Ultra or covert communications to a human through the internet, having basically, you know, synthetic telepathy or potentially overriding all of the impulses, including muscular impulses, to do that securely, it would be a quantum connection. And that would be, for all intents and purposes, it would be untraceable unless you hacked into the side-by-side, because you can't, that's the theory of quantum, is if you intercept a quantum communication, the intercept itself disrupts the communication. You can't get the information because you disrupt the entanglement. Because the quantum mechanics states that the observation itself defines what the end result is of the action or the transmission. So if you were to observe, meaning tap into or try to intercept or hack, if you were to do that in any other location or any other viewpoint, frequency, encryption, whatever term you want to use, besides its intended recipient, that communication would be destroyed. You would not understand the communication. But so from that perspective, yes, a guy like this may be useful, because if he's this good in a regular network, you put him on a quantum network to do quantum encryption, yeah, for sure. But as it relates to MK Ultra, tying this guy in, he would be like a network manager, not necessarily a science guy that would actually translate, you know, communication signals into biological manipulation. He would just manage the network by which that was delivered.
I don't know.
That's the way I see it. But
I don't know. I'm not sure why he was added into this little mix of guys.
I don't know if this whole Thousand Talents program is all dedicated to MK Ultra. I think the Thousand Talents program is dedicated to a portfolio, a communist portfolio.
All right, let's keep
economics, science, and military.
let's keep going. All right. Let's keep going. How much time do we have?
A little bit. I do need to reboot this thing, hoping that my browser will accept PDFs again. I don't know what the heck happened.
All
I
right.
tell you what, as soon as I started researching Lieber, and maybe it's just me, right? I don't want to sound all paranoid, but just dumb little things have started happening to my computer.
Huh.
Anyway, it could just be
Yeah.
my imagination. I'm not saying that something's, could just be my imagination.
We've all had our weird things.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this guy looks fun. It's art with 2 A's, huh?
Art.
Art.
Pleisen.
Pleasant. Professor Emeritus of Surface Chemistry and Material Catalysts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Center of Interface Dynamics for Sustainability. Science and Technology, China. Southwest Airport Economic Development Zone.
Yeah.
People's Republic of China. University of Amsterdam, Netherlands.
So he does atomic and molecular physics, plasma physics.
See, or what irritates me
What?
is that there are people who go to school, even though they're not the top in their field, they understand this stuff, and whether they understand or know what's going on, there has to be enough rumble at this point, and I just think that there's anyway, I don't know. It just irritates me.
I don't know
because
what.
there are people that know this stuff that could translate this to the layman so easy, and we would know very, very, very quickly. Very
All right.
quickly.
I'm really smart. Let me tell you what it is.
Okay.
Google.
Ooh.
Plasma physics is this. Plasma physics is the study of charged particles and fluids interacting with self-consistent electric and magnetic fields. So it's like there's these keywords that stick out for each of these guys. I
5
feel
by
like,
5.
yeah, it's a basic research discipline that has many different areas of application: space and astrophysics, controlled fusion, accelerator physics, and beam storage. Like, how many of these guys had something to do with accelerator physics? How many of them had something to do with the fluid thing? How many of them charged particles? Like, I feel like there has to be some kind of connection here. Either there's a handful of projects that Thousand Talents is working on, and they're all bringing their expertise to it. But what could it be? What could they be building? Beam storage?
What is your concept? Wow.
0. I'll just answer that right
now. Stop that thought at the wrong time. What is your idea of other intelligent life?
In terms of aliens?
Right.
How many shows have I done on the subject?
Well, yeah, to that point, right? We think, oh, something tangible is going to come down and I'm going to see and understand it, rather than understanding that there is an infinite amount of wavelengths and an infinite amount of energy vibrations potentially, and that we are only exposed to an understanding of a very few at start based on our 5 senses, and then through the application of science and experimentation, we've built things like infrared, we've built things like radar, we've built things like hadron colliders, and started understanding the subatomic relationships between, particle physics and all this other crazy named crap, right? Well, what if the goal is to build an interface between something that is unseen so that it can manifest in what we understand as the scene or the 3-dimensional plane?
Okay.
And when you look at ancient texts, whether it be Bible or anything else, the whole idea of demons and angels and all that, is that perhaps what they're referring to And that really what the Tower of Babel is, for example, right, was just an old way of describing technology that creates a bridge or a gateway between, for lack of a better term, other dimensions.
All right, I'm down with you there.
I don't know. That's the
No,
more I
no,
look into this stuff, the more it's like I'm beginning to think that that's what these microdosing freaks in the Silicon Valley, that's what they're after. They're after a permanent interface that can be grown into humans so that they can connect us into another dimension using quantum field theory
no. I
run
hear
on a
you.
quantum internet, because that all functions through quantum mechanics and quantum field theory.
Well, okay, if we're really going to go there, I mean, look at the stuff that they're doing with like DMT. I don't know if you caught my show on
Exactly.
that. It was quite fascinating. And I've talked about this a few times. Like my brother, after he had surgery and he was on fentanyl, he was experiencing like severe, intense hallucinations. And now keep in mind that he's tried, pretty much every drug there is. And I mean, he was 100% convinced that this is like another dimension and that these beings and people and animals that he was seeing were actually part of our reality, but we could not see them.
Right.
So I'm with you on the same page there. I mean, I
Well,
mean, it,
I've listened to people talk about, the controlled hallucination experiences, like the spirit guys, where they take ayahuasca or DMT or whatever, and they all have the same similar experience. And it's not that their experience is identical; it's that whatever they're interfacing with, whatever hormones and interactions are chemically going on in the brain after taking these drugs, DMT, MDMA, ayahuasca, whatever, psychedelics, if you will, whatever they're interfacing with, the shapes, beings, entities, colors, um, general structures, if you will, they're described very much the same way. And these descriptions match, and they're not coming from like a single clique or a single group. These are like globally uniform descriptions when people
well,
render them as art or anything like that. And so I don't know, there's something there.
no, you have to ask what is the objective of CERN. And when you watch their little ceremonies and when you listen to people's various theories about it, it is as if they're trying to bring another world into this dimension and crossing that bridge of unleashing that,
I think it's a gateway. I think it's opening
yeah,
a gateway
like a
that,
Stargate or something.
and you can call it a hedge of protection. That is the gate that's closed and locked, or not. But I think I think there's something there. And once we achieve some level of technological knowledge, that gate's going to go away, and then it's a matter of, what are we what are we what are we doing? And some say that that's already happened, and some say that's going to happen, right? And I think there was something in the Q post that said, POTUS opened the door of all doors, if I remember correctly. What is that supposed to mean? You think about their technology being so far advanced relative to what we understand. What is that? Are we talking about opening up a permanent gateway into or through or using a quantum network, and then allowing extra dimensional energy to then free flow through our dimension? I mean, that's some pretty crazy sci-fi kind of stuff that, if you were to manifest that in a movie, it would be some mystical, priest class that, incense and smokes and low fire, flamey colors, and maybe they drink this special potion, and, then you go through a scene that's like,
See,
looks like some kind of
again,
hallucinogen, you know what
you're
I'm
like,
saying?
see, but you're like going on the, yeah, priests and, you're like going down the happy route. And I'm thinking like gates of hell over here.
Well, I don't mean priests like I don't mean priests like we think, or no. I think the priests, when I say priests, I'm talking like the priest class, the ones that have the hidden knowledge.
Like the Magi or whatever.
Yeah, and it would be, and I'm thinking like, and these are what would be defined as like occultic rituals, these certain pattern of motions or activities in order to elicit a temporary connection to the unseen. That is, what, isn't that what the occult is?
Yeah.
And so if the occult has control, would not the next step be to create a permanent interface that either regularly conducts the rituals required to have the interface happen, and or use technology to create a permanent interface so that the rituals don't need to happen anymore? The interface is built, and whatever is coming through when those rituals occur, which doesn't seem to be a good kind of energy, can then just free flow through our environment. Is that not the devil incarnating here? I mean, what does that really mean? What does that look like when you think about demonic energy running rampant? I mean,
It's
that's,
not a pretty picture.
no. And when you think, how would that be achievable scientifically, mathematically, using engineering? How would one achieve that? And
Smashing particles together at
yeah,
like
opening,
supersonic speed.
tearing open the tearing open what we understand as the veil or the fabric of our universe in order to peer through the other side, and cut open a hole in space time and stitch it up so it doesn't rip to shreds, and create a portal and tie that portal into an internet that flows everywhere at the speed of light, everywhere
Well,
across this planet.
now I don't know. I mean, though, because if you think about Project Looking Glass, supposedly that is what that's doing. It's allowing you to not only see but travel through space time. And supposedly there's multiple uh, portals that allow you to do that all over the world. I think it was something like 15 of them or something. So they could have already done that, but maybe you can go there, but you can't bring it back, and maybe they're trying to bring it back.
Maybe that's what the internet's for. Maybe it's to tie these pieces together so that think of it as extensions of those locations. If that's where the natural portals are, whether it be because the magnetic fields are different or whatever, right? Whatever makes those things special. Maybe that's what the internet's for. Maybe that's where the portals or the throughputs are, and then the internet just becomes an extension. So once they're here, they can go anywhere rather than staying in some kind of a localized proximity. And when you start tying the quantum internet into it and the idea of particle entanglement, if you can create a network that's advanced enough to entangle every single neuron in the brain, or every single tubulin dimer, which is a piece of the brain, if you can create systems that are able to interface at the quantum level with every major brain center, region center in the brain, and do so with every human on the planet, then
Zombie apocalypse.
yeah, man, there goes free will. What you've done is you've
Right.
created a prison for the heart and the soul.
Which
So the
is what the
mind,
Bible does say, right?
right, the mind
Because
becomes separated from the heart, which then prevents communion with God, because you need both. Prayer is not with the mind. Prayer is not with the heart. Meaningful prayer is a combination of both. It is the application of emotion, applied emotion to thought and concern, to thought and reason, right? Applying your emotional state to something that is meaningful to you, which requires some type of thought. We're not amoebas. We have a conscious understanding of what's going on. And so when we engage in prayer, it is the application of that using emotion or amplifying it with emotion from the heart. So in my view, what this is the ability to separate the brain from the heart, so that the brain is encapsulated and run and governed by artificial stimuli at light speed, instantaneous, particle entanglement, quantum entanglement. with the brain so that the heart is truly severed and separated from the brain. And at
So
that
that's
point, the connection's gone.
like quantum transhumanism.
Yeah, it's a piece of it for sure.
All right, let's keep going because we only have a handful. We might be able to make it. How long do you have?
A little bit, 15, 20
Okay.
minutes. I
Ah.
need probably 15 minutes to reboot this computer.
Do you have a show? Is that what you're?
Yep.
Oh, got it. What time is it right now?
10, 11,
And what time's your show?
11.
Yeah, we got this. All right, so these guys are not as exciting by any
You should
means.
just hang out with me on the show. We're going to go through George Church. He's from Harvard.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, if you want to hang out, man, that'd be cool. We're going to go through some articles and watch a video on Church. Anyway, I don't know what you got going on, but it doesn't matter. You do what you do.
All right. Let's check this dude. Biolab, bio-inspired, smart materials.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at DARPA's biomaterial stuff earlier today a little bit. Oh, joy.
Biomimetic.
Yep. Wow, it's just, look at these people. Look at they don't look very nice. Oh my.
Oh.
Dude, you see these people on 60 Minutes, you're like, man, that family's got to be dead.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Wow.
I'm so sorry for them though. They live in such an oppressed, horrific society that I just can't
Now,
even
do you
imagine.
think he's oppressed or an oppressor?
I think he's probably a combination of both, actually.
Right. At some point, you're valuable enough where you get what you want and you look at people, places, and things as items and trinkets that are disposable. And when I look at those eyes, I bet there's some not so nice activity. Look at this.
Yeah, that wing dude.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. Put a gold chain around this guy, give him some gold teeth.
Jing Dai!
All right, and then we have this guy.
Hello, bye. Hi, bye.
How bye? All right, so.
Heng Zhao Jing.
Yes, in China.
Wow.
Now, what's this guy do?
Right
Chemical
there.
and biological engineering research. Let's see what they got going on. Oh.
Multi-scale structural, multifunctional biometric smart materials.
Yeah, biomimetic textiles. Oh. They can do that with bunny fur?
What? Oh, it's insulation.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What was the top one?
Biomimetic porous fiber.
Well, that doesn't really explain it with the picture there.
50 microns. Nacre mimetic composite. Wow.
I don't really understand what they're telling me
What
there, though.
the heck is this stuff? Don't worry. Lots of your processed food comes from China. This should be safe.
Well, go back to the bunny thing, though. So once they put the thing on the bunny, like, you can't see its temperature underneath that thing.
Not really, no.
Huh.
I'd like some of that.
All right.
Let's lab photos. Let's see what's in lab photos. Lightweight and high-strength composite materials. Multi-scale structural, multifunctional, biomimetic. Oh, my goodness. You know what?
What?
I feel like I'm back in the dial-up days. Ding, ding, ding.
56K, right
Yeah,
there.
for real. All right, nothing special there in the office.
All right, well, we get the idea of him. Let's keep going.
All right, chemical engineer, doctoral supervisor.
This sounds really not happy here. This guy, Jing Wing.
Another one?
Yeah. Where is
Did you
that?
send it over in
No, I'm getting there. There we go. Transduction regulation has made significant progress in elucidating the regulation mechanism superfamily signaling during early embryo development and tissue formation. The related papers were published on various international academic journals such as Developmental Cell, Blood, Molecular, and Cellular Biology.
well, this
What is
doesn't
wrong with your computer?
it doesn't
Here,
like the link, man.
drop
Well,
the share.
I think that I think I need to reboot is what it needs to happen, quite frankly.
All right, we'll drop. Oh, you dropped it? Okay.
Dropped it.
All right.
Wipe
Oh my goodness, that was so opening for me.
Say what?
What is going on with that? I only have 1,000 windows open here.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
All right, so ZFin.
Uh-oh.
Let's try this again.
Uh-oh.
All right. Wow, really? Seriously, it's just spinning.
Yep.
All right, well, anyway, that's what he does. I have no idea what that even means. International academic journals, blah, blah, blah. All right, we're going to skip him. This is Jinho Kwok, combinatorial topology. I have no idea, dude. Jinho Kwok. It all sounds like a crock.
Don't say that 3 times fast.
Here he is right here. Here he is
sharing?
right here. I think I am.
You're not sharing.
Dang it.
There you go.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Gotta move. And that little big he's a professor.
Here's a start.
Major publications, service branch coverings, related group theory, combinatorial computational mathematics, enumerating branch service coverings. What do we need to do? Go to Google Patents.
Very good. About to give you all the
What's his
tricks
name?
of it.
Jinho Kwok.
What are you typing in? Wow, it's blurry. It's interesting.
My screen is blurry?
Yeah, a little bit. Bio-inorganic compound capable of stable solid-state storage of genes. Whoa! Solid-state storage of genes and preparation. Bio-inorganic compound capable of solid-state storage. Bio-inorganic compound capable of solid-state storage. That's crazy. Yeah, it's blurry. Your notes are not blurry, but
My screen is.
yeah.
I wonder. 1 second. Did I probably checked the boxes out of freaking habit. Here, let's try that. Is that better?
Yes, slightly.
Hey. Bio-inorganic hybrid composite, which is able to retain and carry biomaterials with stability and reversible dissociativity. With the present invention is concerned with the method for preparing such bio-inorganic hybrid composite. I have no idea what that is. Pore sizes of porous inorganic compounds such as cross-linked clay, All right. Anionic clay. So I think he's like a designer for like actual hardware. Some actual piece of equipment. Because it says combinatorial topology, combinatorics. No, it's not. I have no idea what that is. Composites can be controlled by changing the metal ratios according to X. Various anions, denoted by can be easily introduced between the metal hydroxide layers through ion exchange reaction and co-precipitation. All right, what's this? Including separation technology, optics, medical science, and engineering, and active research has been directed. Something to do with composites. I don't know. All right, we're going to keep going. Yukio Tamura. This guy does wind engineering. Why would China be interested in wind engineering? There he is. All right. Wind effects, wind, wind, wind. Structural engineering. Extreme wind events and assessment, wind resistant design of tall buildings,
That
strong
makes
wind
sense.
events, damping in buildings and estimation, strong wind events, vortex shedding and aerodynamic forces on a circular cylinder. So he's all about wind. All right, this next dude is Abdul Ghani Raza Kapoor. And this is concrete structural design, concrete composites. We'll skip him. He's basically the same thing. He's like a builder guy. This one is kind of interesting though. Out of freaking nowhere, this guy comes. This guy, what is his name? Mark Battier. Call for postdoc under Professor Marla. He is from the music department of the School of Arts of Shenzhen University. This was just an ad I found. So he was putting out an ad at this university of trying to find someone. And so they'll have a PhD. What was it? Take part in installation and operation of research in computer music. Music, right?
Mm.
Like, where did that come from? Music Innovation Center, setting up development and daily operations of the following research activities, develop research projects based on serving music and musicology communities such as MSAN database. So I don't know, music. So we had one guy that was doing online gambling security. This guy does music, just weird. Moving on, we got this guy, Alexei Guryev. He does high performance steel and alloy. I can kind of understand that. Which is kind of funny considering that they just sold us a bunch of crappy steel, right? So that was that dude. This guy, Dieter Hoffman. CERN, plasma, axion, photon coupling, laser and particle beams. So this is one that freaked me out. Axion, so a CERN axion solar telescope.
Mm.
All right, let's keep going. I think the last one. This guy is, what was his name? Bernd Wunneman. And what does he do? Sediments, environmental impact assessment, physical geography, stratigraphy, tectonics. There's another tectonics. Sedimentology, climate change, environment, hydrology. So he's like the ultimate environmentalist guy there, I'm assuming. So anyway, that's all of them. We made it through all of them. So I don't know. What do you think? That is 1,000 Talent, guys.
Just a few of them. So I think if there's ever a lull, I think I'm gonna go down this rabbit trail. The first few that we looked at were definitely interesting. They tie into same fields of research that Charles Lieber and I think Church. Why is the first name escaping me? Anyway.
Oh, that's the other guy was Church?
George Church, I think is his name.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's kind of fun that they didn't have really any other bio weapon guys.
Well, or at least not prima facie. So.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that concludes our trip down that little lane. I will try to figure out. I was recording this whole time, so I'm going to try to save it and figure out what to do with it from there. And then, yeah, I'll probably put it.
Start on your YouTube channel.
I don't know what we'll do.
Start on your YouTube channel and then see what happens. At least it's there.
As a point of reference, I guess.
Yeah, because who knows? I mean, I had a feeling you're not going to let this go now. You're going to,
Oh no.
right. So you'll have, I'm sure, a lot more to say about it.
Yeah, I want to figure out their connections. I want to figure out if they got funding and from who, and if there's any politicians that are linked to them. Those are the ones that stick out to me. And then we'll go from there, I guess.
Good times.
All right. Well, I am going to stop this, and you get rebooting and enjoy your show.
I'll see you when I see you.
All right. I'll be listening, and I'm getting tired, and I have to work tomorrow. So,
cool.
all right. We'll see you later.
I'll see you. All right. Bye.
Bye.